It's Aquarius season and we're coming up on a full moon in Leo, and there's going to be some eclipses, and it's 2026. Whenever you receive this reading, it is useful and can be applied to whatever you're going through, but do think back to January 29th, February 1st, February 2nd, around that time. What were you doing? What was going on in your life? Did you make any major changes, or did you have any epiphanies, or what did you write down in your calendar or journal? Because whatever that was, it might be affecting you when this receives you, when you receive this, when this reaches you. So let's go ahead and get into it. I've been doing this now for 1 year, making videos about astrology, and it's kind of cool. Originally I started because I wanted to work on my public speaking, and what better way for me to do it than to do it on a subject that I felt passionate about, that I was excited about. And I still love astrology so much. Astrology is just such a wonderful tool, because I feel like the amount of things to learn in astrology is never ending. It's sort of like feng shui. There's multiple schools of feng shui. There's multiple types of astrology, and there's so many different ways to view what's happening astrologically. I've also been doing some card pullings from oracle decks and tarot decks here on this channel for about a year now, and that's been a lot of fun too. I really enjoy following the people that I follow, and I enjoy seeing that the readings that come up are similar in regards to the collective unconscious and the collective consciousness. That's really exciting to see similar cards that come up in various people that I follow, their readings, and the different outlooks and takes on the same kind of card. It's pretty exciting. So yeah, this would be like the equivalent of my football or my baseball game. Like, this astrology is like that for me. So it's been a lot of fun. This past year, I've basically done readings right before the full moon and right before the new moon, pretty much every season, every astrological sign. And I have also done a couple extra here and there for holidays. So Mother's Day, the holiday season of the winter holiday season, etc. So that's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that. By the end of the 12 months, back here in around December, I thought I'd try my hand at trying to do it for all the signs. So there was some time between October-ish and January where I did all the air signs, all the water signs, all the fire signs, yada yada. So now this last time I did each sign individually. Whew, that was a doozy. So I really got a feel for it, and it really helped me with my public speaking. It helps me say a lot less. All of my readings have been relatively off the cuff in regards to, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to cover, and I got to learn how to stop looking down as if I'm looking at something I've written down, because I haven't written anything. But there's this way of processing thought when you're thinking off the cuff that it's easier to look away and think and then look back. So it's just been a lot of fun. I never ended up joining any Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a group where you can get together with other people who are practicing their public speaking skills, but I do feel like making these videos has helped me with my public speaking, and I've enjoyed it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get into Aquarius. This last Aquarius season would probably be the first time since I've been recording these videos for a year now that I didn't do reading for the new moon. And so I kind of skipped that. I've been working on my own other projects that I've been very excited about. And I have noticed that the engagement that I've gotten with Aquarius videos for some reason hasn't been as high. And I do notice that it is a little bit motivating. Like, I noticed that Sagittarius readings that I've done have gotten a lot of engagement, and Leo readings have gotten a lot of engagement. And there is something exciting about that, because it makes you feel like you're actually talking to real people out there, that it's reaching someone. So Aquarius, maybe I was a little less motivated, possibly because there hasn't been as much engagement with Aquarius readings that I've done for Aquarius seasons or for Aquarius signs. But it could also be that sometimes when you're super close to something, it's a little harder to see it as clearly if you're like in it. And I do have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. I have some prominent placements with Aquarius in my own chart. So that could be part of it too. Maybe I was like, I don't know what to say, but I'm still going to go ahead and go forward with this. Anyway, so we're 6 minutes in, and here we go. I feel like it's okay to take a risk with doing a little extra talking about me, myself, and I on this video. And you never know, maybe it'll get more engagement or not, who knows, but I'm still going to give it as I see it. So we have a full moon in Leo coming up this weekend. When I'm recording this, it'll be tomorrow, the full moon. And full moon in Leo. So Leo is the opposite energy of Aquarius. And I say this in all my videos when I talk about opposite energy. I like to view opposite energy, especially when it comes to the moon and the sun placements, as a teeter-totter, because they really do work off of each other. When the moon is shining bright, it is reflecting the sun, and vice versa. So they work with each other. And I like to think of it as two energies on a teeter-totter. I don't know if you've ever been on a teeter-totter, but it goes like this. And the purpose for these two entities that are opposite, the purpose of that is the paradox is to solve the paradox. And the paradox would be finding a balance or solution with these two opposites. So it's fun to look at the similarities and the differences. So Aquarius stands out, and so does Leo. We have this Leo full moon coming up during Aquarius season. Both energies have this way of standing out. Leo stands out in a way that's like entertaining, kind of flashy, theatrical, beautiful. Aquarius stands out in a way that's like unusual, might be seen as a bit of a rebel. It could be that child, when you look at the solving of the paradox of the two, you could see the child that didn't sit still in class, the child that wouldn't be still in the choir. Turns out they were a dancer. And it turns out that they ended up being somebody who did both sing and dance, and that was very useful for music videos. It would be sort of like that. You take these opposites. So in one way, you could look at it as this is a rebellious child who wouldn't be still and kept moving around when everyone's supposed to stand up straight and be still while they're singing in a choir. That would be looking at it as if that child is kind of like Aquarius. They stand out. They're doing something that makes them stand out. Maybe it's the way that they're dressed. Maybe it's the way that they're moving when no one else is moving, but there's something about them that stands out. And instead of being like, hey, that makes them a star, or that makes them the star of the show, or they're definitely ready for like being on stage, because that's what you got to do when you're on stage, is you got to stand out, or you just naturally do. You look at it as that's rebellious and that's wrong. And then there's the other side with Leo. And Leo would be like, another way of looking at it, oh, well, that's someone who's meant to stand out. That is someone who's meant to stand out for the purpose of entertaining others, or for the purpose of being heard, or for the purpose of being seen, and it creates something that belongs. So it could be something that's cheered on. So these are two opposite energies that have a similarity about them, and the opposing factor, when you bring them together, you're finding the solution to the paradox, and what comes out of it. So what we have coming up in this next month is we've got some aspects with Uranus. You can laugh if you want to, because it's a funny word. And who decided to name that planet that? Who decided that? Were they just like tired of like trying to come up with a name, and they're just like, all right, here we go. Like, was it a joke? It's still a joke for me every time I have to say it. Okay, so Uranus is going to have some aspects, some changes. A lot of astrologers are saying there's going to be unexpected changes that come up. We have some changes with Aries, and Uranus is about sudden changes. It can be fortuitous, it can be wonderful, it can be changes that changed your life for the better, it can be changes that felt like everything came crashing down and changed your life for the worse, or it just kind of depends on who you are and how you handle sudden changes. Some people have certain placements that make sudden changes. They have a way of like either transmuting those changes, or they work out to be like something better right around the corner, or it was a blessing in disguise. And then some people, have sudden change, and it really just depends on who you are. How do you handle sudden change? How do you want to handle sudden change? With the Aquarius having moved into Pluto last year, and it's the beginning of a very long couple century cycle, you can kind of rewrite your karma to some degree. You can think outside of the box of how you've been programmed your whole life to think about things. And you can decide that you're a person who now is going to be handling sudden changes like this or like that. What kind of sudden changes are these going to be? So it has something to do with Taurus. It has something to do with energy turning with Taurus. Taurus represents the Earth. I read something recently in a science magazine that I thought was really interesting. The core of our planet is actually changing directions, and I think that's really, really interesting. It made me think about how there's going to be a change in direction also with the planets up in the celestial systems in regards to what we consider to be Earth-type energy. As above, so below. That's what they say anyway, and I could see that there. So I think because of all this that's going on with Aquarius, Aquarius is air. I think it's going to have something to do with air. Because there is this whole thing around Aquarius energy is like a rebellious type energy, or Aquarius energy can be misunderstood, and Aquarius energy rules air. I do think that there could be something akin to kind of maybe, I mean, I could be completely wrong here. Neptune has been in Pisces for a long time, but some of my predictions were pretty right on. So why not throw caution to the wind and just say what I'm thinking I see. Something that has to do with the air. There's been reports of like a lot of neurotoxins in the air. Where I'm recording this, I'm in the United States. So in the United States, like the government has hired people that usually like protect the border, or people that didn't even have jobs at all. A lot of people have been hired recently to like put things in the air that are full of neurotoxins to kind of like control the movements of the people in the country so that they can't move so much, or so that they can't like protest, or so that they can't like be as mobile physically. So I do think it's going to be something like with air, because Aquarius is air and we're in Aquarius season. And I am seeing something like kind of around kind of like what we had in the pandemic, where people had to kind of shelter in place. I've been noticing where I've been living just around me. And I've also noticed around not just in the like state or town where I've been living, but I've been noticing this has been happening all over the country that I live in, where people are being told to like shelter in place occasionally when like things happen. And there's like mystery around what the things are that are happening, but it usually has to do with some sort of like violence or some sort of danger, and then people are told to not come outside. And that's been happening a lot. So I think it could be something like that. It could be happening again, but it's like going to be unexpected and on a wider scale, like on a broader thing. Aquarius has a lot to do with structures and being outside of the structure. So it is a bit out of the ordinary for the town that I live in, or the state that I live in, or the country that I live in, for people in entire neighborhoods to be told not to go outside because something happened that was violent outside or inside or somewhere. It could be something like that, I'm thinking, but it could be something else. But whatever it is, I think its effect is going to kind of grow and evolve between this month, the middle of this month, and April-ish is what I'm sensing. We'll see if I'm right. There are some videos that I've made that I look back and I'm like, wow, like that I had so much to say in that video, and I made so many of the same video because there were so many parts to it, and I was like right on. Like, so you never know. It's fun to guess. It's fun to see like if we can kind of sense what's up. And the fates are always changing. Like the future is not static. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I would say that with these transits that we're having with some things with Aries and overall Aquarius type energy for the first half of February of 2026, I would say pay attention to your body as much as you can. Aries, because it is fiery energy and it's the first in the zodiac, the baby of the zodiac, so to speak, the trailblazer. It's ruled by the head. Be careful about bumping your head. Be careful about bumping into things. Be careful with your body, especially the head. And accidents, like Aries can kind of be the type sometimes where they can be taking so much action and then they don't even realize, like at the end of the day, that they've been bleeding because they brushed up against something somewhere, or grabbed something in a rush and cut themselves. So like, be gentle with your body. Try to slow down as much as you can. It'll be a lot easier after the middle of February because things will start moving into Pisces and things will slow down. But the first half of February, try to slow down. Aquarius can be very much in the head too, and a different type. Not like necessarily the physical head like Aries, which is the ram, but like the mental sphere of the mind. So try to remember, like, once every hour, try to get up, move your body, stretch. It's going to be really important. Try to remember your breathing exercises. If you have clean air or air purifiers, or if you're in a place that has clean air, start using your breathing exercises. Long exhales. Long exhales are going to be really helpful. A lot of us are feeling a bit of relief being in Aquarius season, because Aquarius has this way of being able to compartmentalize the mental vision, that it's sort of like the star that has, how they say the bird's eye view. Well, this would be like the star's eyes view, the star's eye view. And we're all meant to have that at times. And we all like come from star matter. There's like 50 billion tons of star matter landing on the earth every day. we're all part of it. But this, when you have the wide scope and you're able to see things from a distance and see the bigger picture, that can bring a little bit of relief emotionally. I think there's a tension that can be felt for some during Capricorn season. It's very go, 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 like, but there can be this nervous energy. Like, should I cross the street? It says it's green, but it changes to red so fast. What should I do? Like, that can happen a lot with like Capricorn type energy, like the nervous, like, and it can build and build. Well, then when you get to Aquarius energy, it's just kind of like, you don't have to have as much feeling. And it's nice little break. So while I'm recording this, we still have a couple more weeks of that left, which can be really, really helpful for a lot of us, especially those of us who have a lot of water in our chart, like Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio, where we tend to feel a lot. I have a lot of Pisces in my chart, and I've been feeling a lot. I've been feeling a lot of things that are happening, that are loud, across the country that I live in. And it's been a challenge. Like, it's really intense to, I've been feeling more of the oneness of it all, but it's been like, people's fear and pain and suffering. I've been feeling that for I'd say it's been growing for about a month now. And I definitely felt the shift when we moved into Aquarius energy, because I was like, I can see it and not have to feel it as intensely. It's kind of like, you can't deny when you're in hot water. You can feel that the water's hot physically. That's what it's like to be water signs. And if you have a lot of water in your chart, you're probably feeling a little bit of relief from the evaporation that can happen with air type energy. And that's going to be a wonderful thing. There, we started off our Aquarius season with Venus and Aquarius, and that was kind of nice. I think we could see even the way people were speaking was more of a different style. It became less of a me and less of about power over, and more of a we type language. I noticed the subtleties in that. So yeah, this little bit of relief of this osmosis and this evaporation from the intensity of the feelings will be good and fine and dandy until about the middle of the month. And then around the middle of the month, we're talking 15, 16, 17. I don't know, from there, from 15th to the 20th, there's going to be sudden changes. And they could be really for great, or they could be scary, or they could be whatever it is. What's happening is we have basically new earth in more words or less. The long-term effects is that there are changes that are occurring simultaneously to other things, being taken down. It's sort of like a remodel in some ways, or a whatever that's called when someone takes down a structure and then they rebuild it, a rebuilding. And everyone has their part in all of it to be in, and basically it comes down to following your heart. Aquarius is about belonging, it's about community, it's about the collective, and it's where is the collective heart? Where are the hearts of many? When I think of Aquarius, I have a Venus in Aquarius and a Mercury in Aquarius. When I think of Aquarius, and this might just be my programming, but I view it as, there was this commercial, I think in the 70s, where it was I think some kind of advertisement for some kind of charity or something, but it basically was the earth in the shape of a heart, and then there were all these figures of all these different colors holding hands around the earth. They were rainbow. Each person was red, orange, yellow, blue, green, purple, and it was all around it. I'm pretty sure, if that's how I remember it correctly. That's an image that's just in my mind, and I think of Aquarius as that. I think of Venus in Aquarius as that. It's this very much more focused on the collective and a little less, but even in doing so, there's this way of standing out as an individual. I don't fully understand it, but I know that in the country where I've been born and raised, and my parents were born and raised, so on and so forth. There is a culture in this place where I am at of very much promoting individuality. And unlike some places in the world where multiple generations will live under one roof, you might have like grandma and grandpa living in the attic or in the basement, and then like the grandma and grandpa's kids living on the second floor, and their kids living on the second floor, and then the cousins living on the first floor, whatever. Like in a lot of countries, you have like everybody kind of lives together under one roof in a family. But in the country where I am recording this, where I and my lineage has been born and raised, we have the culture is you get up, you get out of the house, and you get your own house that you have with your partner, and then you have your kids there, and you're supposed to have your own yard and your own house. And a lot of times the houses are supposed to, like, the dream is that it's supposed to be big and like more room than you maybe even really need, and you're supposed to fill it up, and it's just you. And then maybe if you're like kind of old school or European or like really family oriented, you might have relatives that live in the same neighborhood, but not under the same like roof necessarily. And it's changed over time. I was born in the 70s, and it has changed to where I do see more families living together, but it's not because the culture promotes that. It's because the economy couldn't keep up with what the culture promoted. So kids end up staying or going back home. And they teach that like in school, like that in like human development classes, that a lot of times people end up going home in their 20s or their 30s. Actually, they make a go of it in their 20s, and then in their 30s they end up back at home, kind of thing. And that's actually normal for like the country that I'm in, the United States. But there's something about Aquarius energy where Aquarius, just like Leo, they do stand out, but Aquarius is about the collective, just like Leo is about the collective. Leo is often entertaining the room, entertaining the collective, the one on stage that's like, ta-da, or they're all about, the children in the family and gathering around and having things be warm and gracious and giving and bringing everyone together. But they definitely need to have their diva moment too. They need to be like seen as like, I'm the reason that we're all together. They really love hearing that. Whereas Aquarius is like outside of that, and like Aquarius is the one who brings somebody else from another household over, so that those gatherings end up not just being the family, it ends up being the whole town eventually over time. Aquarius is kind of on the outer edge. They stand out too, but they're standing out in a way that's more expansive. It makes the end result is more expansiveness and more togetherness with more. Whether those are all related, like Leo is like the king of the jungle, whether it's all jungle creatures or all your family or not. Aquarius is like, well, yeah, but here's some folk there. Here's some energy from the ocean. Here's some energy from the forest. Here's some energy from the desert. Come on over, So it becomes like more of a cohesion and a wider, broader collective. And that's why they tend to look different, because they are like the ones that are like kind of the scouts. They go outside of the circles, and then they bring the bridges, kind of build the bridges. And that can be looked at as rebellious, or it can be seen as like, it just kind of really depends on how you look at it. But knowing like where it ends up and what the purpose of it is really helpful. So remembering that whatever happens in this month, in February 2026, the long-term purpose is, no matter what it looks like now, and the long-term purpose can be more cohesion and a greater sense of your family isn't just the people under your roof. Your family can be considered the people in your town. The family could be considered the people in your state. It's a time for that. And where I happen to be, it tends to be colder this time of year. Where I'm at right now, it's not actually cold at all, but where I tend to like the warmth and just waiting for those sunnier days. And that's something that's like in the Northern Hemisphere for a lot of us, like part of this season is like, we want less of the mind, mental disconnection from the feeling. And we want more of the direction that ends up in, which is the Leo warmth, like togetherness, having a good time type energy. We want to move towards that. That's like what we're longing for. And that's what we know the purpose of this particular time and space is. And we're going to have a little taste of that on, this weekend on our full moon in our Aquarius season, our full moon in Leo. But without, you know, people putting out the flyers and scouting for people to attend the show would only last one night, you know, like, or a short amount of time, or only a few people would like know about it. And it can be a lot more fun. Like, there's a reason that people like go to festivals and Coachella and Burning Man and things like that. People love big parties for a reason. There's something wonderful about that, whatever that is. I personally don't know, because I really haven't done much of that in my lifetime, but that's just me. Like, yeah, so the thing to remember is kind of similar to a rebuild or a remodel. When you tear things down, sometimes to build things back up in the correct way, or in a way that's going to better serve, hopefully it's going to better serve more than just one person or a few people. Hopefully when you do a remodel, you're doing it with the idea of how it would affect the property value, or how it would affect the value of things long term, hopefully. But no matter what, everything that dies, there's simultaneous birth happening all at the same time. So like, we lose all kinds of skin cells every day. We're constantly shedding skin, while at the same time we're constantly growing new cells, and our cells are regenerating. So Scorpio tends to really embrace the life process, the whole, like, how it's happening simultaneously. But we're kind of in that type of energy with Aquarius and Pluto. Pluto is very scorpionic, and so Aquarius is in that kind of scorpionic place, and we're in Aquarius season, so it's going to be magnified. That it's that you know, when you are if you're moving to a new house, you're not going to take everything. You're going to take what really matters, and what really matters is going to change too. The song that keeps coming into my mind, because I was like, what am I going to say about Aquarius season? Like, what am I going to say? But the song keeps coming in my head, and the words were different. It was, the world is on fire and no one can save you but you. So it's kind of like, what, the world's on fire, but what are you going to do? Like, where are you going to go? Do you want to be at the forefront of it? Do you want to be behind it? Do you want to be on the other side of it? Do you want to sidestep it? What are you going to do? How do you, you know, and what is fire used for? Is fire ever used for growth? Well, yeah, with pine trees it is. Like, fire makes more growth happen. So I think maybe just not losing the awareness that for every ending there can be a simultaneous beginning. And this all sounds very Aquarius, like abstract too, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe some of this sits with people. Maybe it resonates. Maybe it doesn't. But that's what I got for Aquarius season this year. And kudos to 1 year of doing astrology stuff. And stay safe, and stay with your heart. Stay with what you're meant to. If you're not meant to stay in safety, then don't. If you are, then do. Do what your heart is moving you towards. And yeah, with all of the... For those of us that like feel a lot, because we are going into Pisces season in like just a couple more weeks, so I'm just going to say it. For those of us who feel a lot, you know, and we feel like the extra pain that a lot of people have been feeling across like the, you know, I'm in the United States, so there's like a lot of extra pain that's been felt up here. Those of us who are water signs, you know, and we feel a lot. We can feel things that may or may not be even our own stuff, right? What was I going to say about that? Create. It can be hard if you feel frozen to like be in that creative space, but creation is the only medicine. It's the only salve. Being creative, it's the only salve, soothing. It's the only solution. It's the other side, kind of like Aquarius and Leo, like are opposites yet similar for the purpose of solving the paradox, which is togetherness. Well, creation is the other side of destruction. So if you see destruction around, if you feel it happening around, you know, anything you're feeling that feels like, really do whatever you can to be focusing on what you want to create. What makes you light up to create? Is it baking and giving those baked goods to your neighbors? Is it making videos like this where you're just talking it all out? Maybe you're just talking to yourself and practicing your speech, your public speaking skills, or maybe you like to make collages, maybe you like to make paintings. I'm working on creative projects right now that involve painting, it involves music making, and it involves things of a very Aquarius type nature. And having, you know, when your heart feels broken because you're feeling all the pain, like this is for us water signs, and we're moving into Pisces soon. But when your heart feels like it's shattered or hurting because there's so much pain going on, you feeling the pain and just sitting there and feeling it, like sitting around in a dirty diaper, isn't helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping anyone else. If you take action, and you're meant to, and that you're really following your heart by taking action because you want to go out in the world and do whatever you do, make sure that action is from the heart. Make sure that that action is from what you want to create more than what you're trying to fight against. Aquarius energy does really well with collaboration rather than competition. It's collaborative. Leo energy is collaborative. Even though Leo like wants to be the diva and wants everyone to like, we are not worthy. You are the king of the jungle. Really, most of Leo really wants that like togetherness. Aquarius does what it does for the purpose of togetherness. Seeing an Aquarius really brave and wearing that thing that you're like, whoa, I would never have the nerve, makes other people feel like they can express themselves more and be more open about who they really are more in a way that is beneficial, that brings more creativity, things like that. So creation is the salve. Salve is like an ointment that like helps soothe the pain of separation, the pain of fear and all of that. Choosing joy is radical. Choosing joy is the detox for all fear. So it takes incredible resiliency to do that. There was this book that I read, Man's Search for Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl, and there were things, the thing that kept him resilient was having his mind be able to create. So not only did his mind recreate every memory that he had of his loved one, but also his mind created a whole life inside of itself that he was living with his loved one outside of the situation that he was in. And that kept him present. It kept him resilient. It kept his brain intact. It was a protection mechanism, but it also kept him useful, and he came out alive probably because of that. So there, you know, Aquarius is very much air, and it has to do with the mind. So the mind will be tested, and the resiliency is to have the positive that you are creating, even if it's only in your mind. That's one place that everyone can ever completely reach. But if you have ability to do it outside of your mind in actual physical form, that's even better. And it could end up being very beneficial too with this Uranus transit that's going to be happening with Taurus and all that jazz. So cheers. This is a really long one for someone that didn't know what they were going to say, but we'll see how it goes. Have a good Aquarius season, and I will talk to you. It's time for Pisces season.